Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Travel insurance is a game changer. It can keep a physically and emotionally stressful travel experience that's really gone wrong from also becoming a financial disaster. But that's true only if you have the coverage that you need. As I talked about last week, my wife and I recently had our 30th anniversary trip ruined by a mechanical delay. The travel insurance company denied the claim 2 weeks later. We paid a lot of money for an experience that never happened. Had I understood a bit more about cancellation and trip interruption coverage, I could have saved us that significant financial hit. What I thought was covered did not match the insurance company's definition. So my failure to read the fine print cost me a significant sum. So here's how you can avoid making the same mistake. Shopping through online companies like InsureMyTrip.com or SquareMouth.com can help you compare an array of policies that you can select from and where you can choose those coverages that are most important to you. Now, they are not the company, they are not the insurance company, they are the agent or the broker. So when you're doing that and you enter the amount of insurance that you want to buy, you can enter the cost per person for the entire trip or for the entire trip. I once entered the cost per person and incorrectly chose entire cost. I learned that painful lesson when I made a claim. So be careful for that. The total coverage for your trip will usually be displayed as a percentage or a dollar amount under trip cancellation or trip interruptions. With most policies, the payment for a cancellation before the trip begins is usually 100% of the insured amount. The trip interruption coverage is usually more, and it's most often 150% of the amount. So what you'll often see is trip interruption 150%, trip cancellation 100%. Sometimes you'll see the dollar amounts that equates to. You can scroll down the comparisons to find out the various coverage for amounts like baggage loss, baggage delay, trip delay, and all the other coverages. And also they'll list the hours needing to pass before the coverage kicks in. And that's what you want to pay a lot of attention to. But trip cancellation or interruption, at least on these two sites, doesn't typically list anything more than your coverage amount. So to find out what is really covered when you're going to need to search for the fine print for the details. Now with SquareMouth, you can click on more details because right under the amount of coverage for, say, trip cancellation is something that says more details. Insure My Trip, which is the one I used, you need to unintuitively click on the dollar amount of the insurance to find the 1,365 words of fine print detailing what is and isn't covered. And then you have to, probably would be really good to have a spreadsheet open so you can go through it and enter things, especially when you're comparing policies. Because of course it's pretty detailed. Had I done that on the Travel Insured International FlexiPlex policy that I purchased, I would have learned that the mechanical delay for either trip cancellation or trip interruption needed to be over 48 hours. And I clicked on the trip interruption for any reason option that I also purchased, the 262 words of fine print, would have told me the coverage applied only after the first 72 hours of the trip. It's pretty worthless. especially when you have a ship to catch within 3 days of when you leave home. 5 insurance companies I will avoid in the future are Travel Insured International, Nationwide, Tinleg, Trewick, and Seven Corners. The coverages range on these policies from none to a waiting period of 48 hours for mechanical delays and over 12 hours to over 48 hours for weather delays. Most delays are less than that range and can disrupt travel plans enough to result in you losing all of your non-refundable deposits. Now, some companies that I will use going forward are AEGIS, Berkshire Hathaway, Generali, IMG, Travelex, and World Trip. Even so, reading their fine print is required. For example, the Generali has no minimum delay required for trip interruption. That's good. But they won't pay if the delay happens on your outbound flight. If you're catching a cruise ship, what's the point? I will also avoid InsureMyTrip.com as a broker and use SquareMouth.com. While travel insurance can provide much needed peace of mind, it's really crucial to thoroughly understand the specifics of your policy. Take time to read and understand the fine print before you buy. How many times have we heard that? Once you feel assured that you're adequately protected from the financial consequences of travel setbacks that weren't on your itinerary, you can relax and enjoy your trip. Thanks for listening.